I've been to a few Olympic Games, and in 2004 I remember watching very closely the triathlon when we had that great battle between Hamish Carter and Bevan Doherty in Athens, and I sadly missed out on seeing the triathlon, or being there anyway. I watched it on TV when I was in London, so I didn't get to see that. But it was great to see the continued rise of Kate McIlroy, because that event at the weekend in Auckland when you finished fourth, really I think from a New Zealand point of view was the highlight. And there'll be people here who are novices when it comes to training and whether it's cycling or triathlon, but I'd be interested to know your sort of build up to your training leading into the Auckland event.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely one of my best results I've had on the circuit so far, and I think, you know, the main thing with me is, Andrew sort of touched on it before, is when I'm not injured and I can string together a good block of training, then I seem to get the results. So it's not rocket science for me, but unfortunately it's the hardest balance for me to get right. So over the summer I've just had a really, really good block of training, and I've been to altitude down at the snow farm twice, which is something that I've never liked, and I've always been really anti it. Because every time I've gone in the past I've trained too hard and I come back down to sea level and race terribly, because I put myself in a big black training hole basically. So I finally went back to altitude this summer and sort of learnt how to train better there, a little bit more mature about my approach, and yeah, I've just had a really good consistent block, and it showed in Auckland in the weekend.
When you decided to go into triathlon, you'd had a great background in running in particular. What was the difficult discipline to pick up on, the cycling or the swimming?
Well, I'd never actually ridden a road bike before, so you know, I had to just actually jump on a bike and just get used to it to start off with. But swimming's probably the hardest part, just because it's so technical, and you know, I swam when I was younger until I was about 13, so I'd been out of the water for 14 years. So I had a bit of catch up basically, and yeah, it's just getting the technique right with swimming, and it took me a few years working with my swim coach Tim, and doing lots of video sessions, and then also getting the miles in as well. So it's taken a while, and this is probably the first year where I finally felt good in the water. I don't mind if it's a wetsuit swim or a non-wetsuit swim now. It used to be a big issue if it was a non-wetsuit swim, because I'd pretty much sink in the water. So yeah, I can actually hold my own now and hopefully make the front group. But the swim on the weekend was really physical, and girls were grabbing my togs and ankles and pulling me back, and stuff that you don't really want to happen, but unfortunately it's happening in our racing at the moment. So
is that because you're an attractive woman, or because they sort of...
absolutely, surrounded by a whole lot of other women. Yeah, I don't know, I think just some girls get a bit desperate, I think, and they just see a foot and they just grab you and do anything to come out of the water ahead of you. So yeah.
So the swim was physical, cycle was pretty good, and you came off in that bunch of four. What goes through your mind when you realise the position you're in? Four of you there, and I think in aftermatch you said, I knew that one of us was going to miss out. You didn't want it to be you, but mentally what you're thinking at the time?
Yeah, it's not a nice position to be in, and I felt really sick for the first 5k of the run. Like, I had really bad stitch, and I actually thought I was going to pull out after a few laps. I was like, oh, I can't run through this, but came right, and then I was obviously like just focusing on I was like, okay, you've done 2 laps, you've just got to sit in and at least last another lap in this front group, and then got to the 1 lap to go. I was like, okay, yeah, I'm still here. Pretty excited about it. It's like, cool, there's only 4 of us, and I was like, okay, but there's only 3 spots on the podium. I know my sprints are not ideal, so I went to the front at the beginning of the 3rd lap actually just to try and string them out a bit, but that didn't work. So I also knew the German girl in there she's got an amazing, she can change speed, like it's phenomenal the way she can do it. So I knew she was going to go, and I felt like I had the legs to maybe be able to lift it up a notch, but when she went, she just went boom and sort of blew us all apart, and we all ended up sort of fragmented, and had a little bit of a battle with the Aussie girl, Felicity, who beat me here in Wellington about a month ago, and I passed her, and I was like, yeah, I think I've got her, and then we went around the last turn, and she went past me again, and yeah, you've either got it or you don't, and I didn't.
But I think from a Kiwi point of view, everyone was wrapped with the way you went, and it was the first of the season too. So how do you feel now as you look forward to Japan next up for you?
Yeah, so I mean it's a great start. Like I couldn't really ask for a better start, to be honest. And I've done those running speed work, so it's there's things to work on and improve and get better, which is nice since we're just at the beginning part of the season. So Japan's my next race, which is in a month in Yokohama. I've raced well there before, I've been in the podium there before, so it's got good memories. And then I head to Europe after that.
So the courses are different, aren't they? Which sort of course suits you?
Yeah, so I mean Auckland is a course that's really made for me. It's a strength-based course. It's a hard bike. This one's it's relatively hard bike, and then the run was a lot of false flat, so a lot of draggy up, which it suits me and my style of racing. So we targeted Auckland I wanted to do well at it. Yokohama, on the other hand, is completely opposite. It's flat. It's quite a technical bike course. It's hot, it's humid, which works in my favour. I race well in the heat, but the bike course I don't like it at all. And the run course is completely flat. So it doesn't suit me, but I've raced well there before, and I think it's because of the heat. A lot of girls can't cope racing in the heat, so there's one little element there working in my favour.
Of course, bike legs never worry you because you're using those fantastic Specialized bikes.
Oh yeah. There's bikes in the market.
Yeah. I'd be interested to know now. So Wellington, Auckland, then Japan. You miss out the San Diego league, don't you, in between? And then you're off to Europe, aren't you, to train for quite some time?
Yeah, so I've just had a week off. I haven't done anything. Literally, I've done no exercise since Auckland, which has been nice. So yeah, I raced Japan, and we're based in Spain, a town called Banyoles, which is an hour from Barcelona, and then I'll compete in the rest of the World Triathlon Series circuit. So I do every race. So the only one I'm missing out is San Diego. So they've kind of mixed it up this year. They've changed the course in Austria. It's the bike's straight uphill for 25 k's, I think, all up, 20 k's. So it's a hill climb, which I'm pretty excited about. And in the run, I think you'll be finished at the bottom. It's a ski field car park, and then we run, I think, continue to run up again. So it's, I'm pretty excited about that course. Madrid, again, is another really strength-based course. So there's some really good courses in there just to mix it up.
Absolutely. We can go back to the Olympics. I remember before the last Olympics, I travelled with, in particular, Hamish Carter, and he talked about at his first Olympic Games how, you might recall, in 2000 he was #1 in the world and really thought that this was his chance. He was going to come out with a gold medal, and he came away bitterly disappointed, but went back 4 years later, and he said the Olympics overwhelmed him, really. And Sarah Ulmer said something similar, where the village, the expectation, it all sort of came in and suffocated them. Can you understand what they were talking about?
Yeah, I can. I think we were aware of that potentially happening. So Triathlon New Zealand, we actually did things a little bit differently, and we stayed out of the village in the lead up to our race. And we actually stayed in a hotel the last few days before the race, and then we didn't move into the village until post-completion. It's, Olympics is a funny thing. It's the one race in your life you want to be in the best shape, and you're always going to think that things that are going to work against you. It's hard to have everything line up and just feel bulletproof on that one given day. And I had a good race, and it was the best. It was the best I could have done then. I carried quite a few injuries going into it, and it was quite stressful. But I ran and performed well considering what I'd gone through.
So, can you, as an athlete, feel that you've got improvements to make? You haven't reached your potential yet, and have you got an idea of when you might? Is that I know I can run faster. I have run faster when I was a runner. So that's nice, and it's cool to know that I've still got a bit to work on in triathlon. But it's just finding the right formula to run fast now without breaking down. And as soon as I lose a few weeks of running, you step back a bit. And so it's just, it's hard for me, but it's exciting at the same time because I know there's still more out there. Yeah. There's a fine line, isn't it, between feeling you want to improve on your running and how that might affect your cycling or swimming, isn't it?
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
that's where a reasonable coach comes in. Have you got a reasonable coach?
Yeah, he's okay. It's not too bad. Yeah, I've had to put my running on the back burner to learn how to get my swimming up to speed, to get my biking up to speed. So I've put a lot of emphasis on cycling, especially the last few years. So that's probably my strength now. But it's also paying off for my run. I'm coming off the bike with legs that are fresher and probably not doing as much running as my competitors, but I've been doing more cycling. So in theory, probably got the same sort of balance.
So I've asked plenty of questions, and I know Kate's been really effusive in her replies. Have you got any questions from the audience here at all? Yeah.
So the courses are quite different in this World Cup series. So is it going to suit you for most of them, or is it going to be? It seems that there's the same small group at the moment that are in the top few numbers. But as the courses change, will that group become 10 or 12 people who get a chance of?
Yeah, I mean, I think they're aware that the bike league and a lot of our racing has become quite neutralised and not enough has been happening, so they're trying to mix it up a little bit. So they've introduced this hill climb and this race in Austria. There's a course in Sweden and Stockholm where there's a lot of cobbles, and so it definitely suits different riders, and it makes it more interesting for the viewers. And I think they like to, it's in the women's racing, we don't have the dominance of the Brownlee brothers, and I think it's nice that we can have, there's different women on the podium all the time, and I think it's conducive to the nature of the different courses as well.
Any other questions?
So how much is tactics come into play in the bike in terms of, you actually are collaborating with 2 or 3 riders to form a break to get away, to actually maximise your potential to get to the podium as a group rather than everyone's sort of sitting hiding. Ideas being done, or is it just on the day people are looking at what's happening and reacting to opportunities?
Yeah. I mean, you always go in with some sort of plan, and you sort of go through the start list and work out who's the strong cyclist who you could potentially work with, who's going to potentially want to break away, who's an aggressive rider. There's not a lot in the women's cycling, and a lot of the girls that are good cyclists are often chasing, and so by the time they get to the front group, they've done their dash and they're happy just to sit in. But you're always looking for opportunities, especially a lot of the Kiwi girls are strong cyclists, so if there's an opportunity for us to break away, then yeah, we would. But it's so much easier said than done.
You were looking back a lot, waiting for someone to try and come with you, but they just weren't. Was that the case?
Yeah, I mean, I ideally would have liked to have tried to break away on Saturday, but we rode pretty hard, and there was no one there that wanted to come away either. Everyone was quite happy that we were gaining time on the chase group, and everyone was just like, right, with the gaps getting bigger each lap, we're just going to wait for the run now, basically. I was riding relatively hard on the front to make sure that gap kept getting bigger. I know I can still run well off a hard bike, but yeah, I mean, there's always, ideally it'd be great if you could get a small group, basically. In a perfect world, yeah.
It's not often a perfect world.
Do you see yourself going to a longer distance later?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe.
That's like a no.
Yeah.
Potentially, I'm interested in doing some half Ironmans. An Ironman, I'm not too sure about. I swam the swim at Challenge Wanaka this year in a team. Did the full swim, and I got out. I said I'm never doing an Ironman. So and yeah, it will likely change.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Perhaps, yeah.
Yeah.
In the run-up to the Olympics, there was sort of a lot of conjecture in the paper and stuff around team tactics and people getting sent in there with a predetermined game plan to help the favoured New Zealand and stuff. To what degree was that true? Were you allowed to run your own, do your own thing?
No, I mean, some of it was true. There was an unwritten agreement basically that if one of us had a bad swim and came out in the chase group, that you weren't allowed to sit on the front and try and drag yourself up to the front group and at the same time take a whole lot of girls with you. So you basically had to settle in and say, well, I'll have to let these other girls, if we're going to, this group's going to catch the front group, I'm not going to be the one responsible for it. So yeah, unfortunately, Nikki didn't have a good swim, and she wasn't allowed to sit in the front because of it, but we all agreed to it beforehand. It could have been any one of us that could have happened to, and it's not nice, but unfortunately, you know, there were fast girls in that chase group, so potentially we could have come, you know, 10th and 15th instead of 6th and 10th.
So don't have a bad swim.
Basically, yeah. Don't have a bad swim. Yeah.
Anyone else?
I don't know the level of funding or sponsorship that you get as a top New Zealand athlete compared to the other competitors around the world when you go into the circuit. Do you travel with all sorts of coaches and massage therapists? Or relative to other
yeah, I mean, some of the other countries are definitely funded better than us, and our funding goes directly on our Olympic results. And we lost a bit of funding because of the Olympics last year, but we've still got enough there to, you know, be able to survive. And we've got coaches, and we've got coaches that travel with us. We are currently trying to sort out a massage therapist. It's not, they don't hire a full-time massage therapist, no. So it'd be nice to have a massage therapist and physio with us all the time, but we don't have the funding for it. Yeah, but I mean, we're funded reasonably well, but like America and other countries would get much better funding.
Well, thank you very much, Kate. It's been enlightening, and I'm sure that the audience here has enjoyed that. It's been great to catch up with you and to get a really good insight into training and how it feels and what your plans are. So, ladies and gentlemen, Kate McIlroy.